Hello everybody, this is now the 5th week since I've applied the H. indica nematodes. So let's see how that's going for us. Also, aside from the typical checking the beetle traps and refilling them and all that, I'm gonna do my first attempt at a sugar roll. I've never done it before. I've never even shaken bees off a frame before. So this might be a very entertaining disaster. So let's just hope everything goes smoothly, and as usual I like to work using very little gear, just my veil preferably. And if I start getting stung up, then I'll use the bee suit, just because I'm okay with taking a few stings, but I don't want to get stung every step of the way. There we go. It's the same frame that I always show you guys. I'm going to try to get closer than usual with this, just because I don't really know. I think it's like 1.5 feet is the focal length for my camera. Try to give you a good look without taking it out of focus. So then it looks like the bees population is growing in the honey super, but they're not. I mean, they're making progress in the honeycomb, but there's not like legitimate honeycomb coming in beyond the 5.5 frames that we've been seeing. So it might just take them a lot of time compared to what we were hoping for.
Yeah. The end coming out the side there?
Hmm?
Oh, that's just
All right. You can tell it's a hot day out here because when I pulled up this queen excluder, it just kind of stretched off rather than snapping off. Where in cooler weather, that propolis would be harder and would make more of a snapping sound. So let's check the first beetle trap. Ideally without offending any of these bees. There's 1, 2. There's 5 beetles. One of them is on the bottom of this trap and a bee is chasing it. So she looked like she's trying to sting it. So that's pretty good, because 2 weeks ago there was like a dozen of them in this one. And 1, 2. That one has about 10 beetles in it. So I might be right about my theory that maybe the nematodes died on the truck from overheating on the when I ordered them. Might have to order them in winter to see if those nematodes will do what they're expected to do. Alright, so sorry ladies. I'm gonna try to pull this puppy up. See if we can spot her highness. I don't see her, but there's brood here. So, actually, let's do my first shake here. There we go. Frame number 2 right there. Don't breathe the smoke. So I'll try to move these puppies. Watch out, babies. Break that away a little bit. Okay. So as I always say, I'm not any super expert beekeeper or anything. Ah. Not seeing a queen there or really any good brood. If we're going to do the sugar roll, this next frame may be the one that we want to shake because it has a lot of brood on it. Put that closer there. There's not a lot of brood on this one, so I'm just gonna have to put it back. Not yet. The first frame didn't really yield what I was hoping it would. So, on my shaker box there, I have some bees in there. I think one of my mistakes is I was going too gentle, trying not to irritate the bees, but I needed to shake it firmer for one thing. I haven't found the queen yet, so I'm hoping I don't accidentally shake her off onto the mat or whatever, and then we have a lost queen or whatever. That would be a disaster, because then we'll have to get a new queen, and we'll have angry bees until they accept the new queen. Haven't seen her in a while, but she's obviously here because they still have the brood and everything. Do you see? I guess you don't see the queen. She may not still have a yellow dot, but she'll look different than the others. Oh well. Huh? Yeah, well, I'm gonna shake this one into the box. First I'm gonna get a good grip. Touch, touch, touch. Put this down here. That one shook pretty well. Oops, sorry. And then this ought to be what we need. Oops, sorry, B. Alright, so then there's another way that they do it where they just drag the cup down the frame, knocking bees off into it. Ow, shit. They didn't like that one. Oh. So, yeah, a little bit. But I guess if you drag it down there, I'll smoke them a little in case they're a little ticked off at me. I guess you kind of pinch them a little when you do that. So now we put 2 teaspoons of, and I'm not even measuring this isn't even a measuring spoon, but it's basically supposed to be enough to coat the bees. So now we're rolling it for about a minute.
Could you get them all in one spot so that you could see that you had half a cup?
No, I had to keep swinging cup and cup, and I'm just kind of hoping that I have half a cup. So it's not the best. If I could have done it faster and shaken off a couple frames real quick, that would have been better. Actually, can you continue rolling this while I put the frames back in so that the bees could settle down? Okay, so now that's been rolling. I'm gonna set a timer for 3 minutes. Because now all you have to do is just let them sit for about 3 minutes in the shade, ideally, so that they don't, I guess, cook in there. And while that timer is going, I'm gonna hopefully not put a bee in my pocket. I always like to show you guys all the bees trying to eat my sweat or whatever it is they're doing. One thing smoke does is it interferes with the bee's attack pheromone. So for example, the sting I took on my hand should attract more stings, but hopefully the smoke will just block that so the bees don't listen to that sting pheromone. Or if another bee is just distressed in a hive, it might send the first attacker to get me. So that's one job the smoke does. Another thing is it helps move the bees out of the way, so in cases like this where I'm trying to put frames back in, it mitigates the potential for crushing a bee. And then a third thing that the smoke is believed to do for bees is it triggers a response that causes them to start gorging on honey. And the thought is that if they gorge on honey, they become in a very docile, like in a swarm state. And a swarm of bees is very docile. And they engorge themselves on honey before they swarm. So, in a couple of ways, it should help reduce the likelihood of getting stung. And otherwise, it just moves the bees for you. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna adjust the camera so I could do the little shake here. Okay. So this is why I asked for the printer paper, because we want a white surface and also a little bit of water. Actually, I could even use my, I'll just use a hose. Now, I've seen people say that you have to shake the bees really hard to do this, but from some universities that are trying to demonstrate how to do this, they recommend that you do it gently, and they even say that it shouldn't hurt the bees, though one person told me that you have to shake them really hard and that it does hurt the bees. Now these bees are going to be really popular because they're all covered in sugar. And now what I'm supposed to do is wet this stuff down a little bit so I can see any mites that appear. I kind of screwed that up because the sheet would have been C1. There's one that looks like a mite for sure. Two.
Where are they?
They're little round specks, but there's a lot of debris in there too, and that's part of the reason why I was going to use this white sheet, but I kind of messed it up.
Clean dish to put it in.
Yeah, a white dish would have been better. Well, basically, I botched this whole thing, but I counted 2 mites before I tried to dig for more. 2 mites out of 300 is not, a percentage to worry about if that were all the mites.